Joining us now, a man who has spent his entire NFL career with the Pittsburgh Steelers, now entering year 5. 4 years ago, he was a second-round pick of the same Pittsburgh Steelers. Team MVP in 2018. Here he is, receiver JuJu Smith-Schuster. JuJu, welcome back. How are you, pal?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me back, man. This is awesome. Pretty cool.
And I got to say thank you in advance to the folks at Charmin for making you available. We'll talk more coming up about what you have going on with them. But watching the draft this weekend and seeing the reactions and seeing the moments and the anticipation and the hope and everything that goes into it, what's the one thing that stands out for you? The one memory that you'll never forget from your draft experience?
I got a phone call, and it was my Postmates from McDonald's. It was outside, but it wasn't a team. And I got so hyped because – on that day, you tell your friends, you tell your family, hey, don't mess with me on this day. Like, between this time and this time, like, I'm expecting phone calls from a team, for a head coach, owners. And I was so nervous. I was so hungry. I was like, man, before I go to NFL, like, I'm going to have like one of my favorite meals from McDonald's. So order McDonald's, I get a phone call. I'm thinking like, it's a coach, and I'm looking at the area code. I'm not familiar with it. We're in Laguna Beach or Newport Beach, and it's a number I'm not familiar with. And I answer, it's like, hey, food's outside. You want me to bring it inside? I'm just like, hello, coach. Oh my gosh. And that's probably one of the most funniest memories on my draft day I can remember.
That's amazing. You were drafted by McDonald's. Fortunately for the Steelers, you didn't sign the contract.
I know.
The draft now that you're 4 years removed from it, established, how much attention do you pay to it, especially as it relates to the guys that your team is adding through the process?
I mean, it's a big thing, honestly, at my age, 20, you have guys 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 guys, who are all being drafted. And it's like to see, what our team is going to have as weapons next year. And, as you see, our first 2 rounds were, 2 offensive players, which is rare because the Steelers, they draft defensive players in the first round. And they've done that the past like 8 to 10 years. So to see them draft a tight end, to see them draft a running back, it shows that, they're bringing weapons for Big Ben to have, So I'm super excited to see, obviously what we got going on and just to go out there and dominate.
I mean, you were there to experience it the entire season. Looking back on it now, what was missing from the running game? Was it blocking? Was it commitment to the run? Was it the tailbacks necessary? Obviously, the Steelers think that they get a guy like Najee Harris that's going to make a difference. But what did you perceive in the running game last year that kept it from being what it needed to be?
I think we just have to, stay true to our run game and, and mix it up. I think a lot of the times, we sometimes we love to throw the ball, and I don't mind it. We throw and we catch and we run it. But at the same time, we have to go in there. We have to block as receivers. We have to block as tight end. And it's going to be a very interesting year to see how our run game plays out. Not having Marquise Pouncey as our center, as a captain, will be tough. Not having Al on the outside. I think our only vet guy would be Dave Castro. You have, Zach Banner, Chooks, but, Najee Harris is a huge commitment, for our offense. Now, James Conner's not with us anymore. And I'm just very curious to see how that's to plan out. But, more heavy on the run game and, moving players around.
You got an extended look at what the business of football is like. And unfortunately, it was in a year with a reduced salary cap. Free agency was different than it's ever been. From your perspective, what was that, big picture experience like for you to enter free agency in a year where things were so crazy?
Oh man, I'll probably say it. I think free agency was probably, more nerve-wracking than draft day. Knowing that I'm able to pick a team where I can go, the teams that offer, but then again, like not knowing what will happen because of the salary was so low and everything this year did not, play out to how I wanted to be. When I looked back 4 years, and it's a lot different, So it's betting on myself, going with the team I've been with, before, and going out and trying to get paid again.
There was a poll question on social media regarding your future before free agency began, and the options were, as to the question of whether you will stay in Pittsburgh, I hope so, and that's a negative. And you actually voted, that's a negative. most people thought you weren't going to be back with the Steelers, apparently including you. What made you think you weren't going to be a Steeler again?
Just with everything that with it going on, obviously, just leading up to it, saying that I will become a free agency before anybody knew, so I just knew that on my own, and I was just like, hey, if obviously it's business, they can't afford me at the moment, but then again, like if you look at the cap salary, it was very, very low this year, so it just came down to like last minute. It really came down to a wire between picking between Pittsburgh, the Chiefs, and Baltimore on where I wanted to go, where I fit best, for a 1-year deal.
How far into the process? Because it took a week or so. When during that period of time did the door open to stay in Pittsburgh when it seemed like it had been closed?
Yeah, I would say that when I hit free agency, they wanted to see where I ended up at. Just wanted to see where the market was at. And it just goes off very slow. Receivers were taking off, slowly, like day 2, day 3, day 4. And I was on the back end, on day 4, day 5, waiting to see, other teams' offer was, 10, 9 mil with incentives. And, Pittsburgh was offering 8 mil. And I was just like, well, honestly, like if it came down to this, going back to know where I know my quarterback, I know my receiver coach, I know my offense, I have the relationship, they know me, they know my body, and just betting on myself is, something that I've looked at, and I don't regret it at all.
And is the plan, let's give it a year, let's see what happens, and then next year, maybe things will be back to normal, the market will be back to normal, and the offers will be quicker, they'll be more reflective of my skills, and we just see what happens then?
Yeah, man, to see what happened. I mean, if it's all willing plays out, I would love to be a Steelers for the next 4 years. That'll be a total of 9 years, playing for them. And the Steelers cap will be a lot higher. I think they're top 5 next year, so we'll see how that goes.
Speaking of 9, I saw on your Twitter that you're at least pondering the possibility of dropping the 1 and going with number 9. Is that something you're seriously considering? And have they told you how much you would have to pay for all the unsold 19 SmithSchuster jerseys?
That's the thing, though. I think the biggest thing is that I marketable 19 so well. But then again, like, all you need is a black Sharpie to just go over it. I mean, how hard is that? I think a Sharpie costs like $2, $3,
What do you do with the road jersey, though?
Whiteout.
Black Charmin are going to work on the road jersey.
A whiteout does. A whiteout. White paint. There you go. White paint. So
we're sticking with 19. That's what you're saying?
I'm sticking with 19, but if it comes down to, I mean, Chris Boswell has 9. He will, for him to give that up, he's probably asking for a check. So I doubt it.
I saw
that a lot of players.
I saw you said somewhere after you signed that the ranking was actually Steelers, then Chiefs, then Ravens, that the Chiefs were the second choice. How close did you come to being a member of the Chiefs?
Very close, man. I got Andy Reid sending me trophies of the Lombardi Trophy and talking to the coaches and everything. It's when you have an opportunity to play on an organization like that, who they win, they put numbers up, they perform. It was very close, But I think more story was I just feel more comfortable, just being home. That I already know like where I'm at, everything's already there. Knowing that I can play one more year with Ben and everything he's done for me, means a lot, and the loyalty is there too.
Do you think it is just one more year for Ben before he retires?
I don't know. We'll see, man. I feel like a lot of guys think, hey, you got one more year, and 1 more year turns into 2, 3 years, and lay down the road. And if he's willing, if he stays, hopefully I stay. But you just never know.
Hey, tell us what you have going on with Charmin.
Yeah, so I partnered with Charmin. Basically, meetings like this are interviews all day, constantly in meetings day in, day out. Charmin has created this thing called BRB Bot. which basically you can activate the bot while you go use the bathroom. You can without being disrespectful or rude at all, which is amazing. And having obviously your time alone and getting away for an amount of time, and it's really cool, man. Just messing around with it myself and me being asked questions day in day out and repetitively, I think it works out perfect. And it's a great way. It's a great way for the digital world, with everything else happening like Zoom calls and meetings and all that. So it's really a great tool for us in the future.
So it's actually something you could use doing a call like this while you go take care of business.
Yes, to be honest, preferably more of a meeting call. More people want to. The one-on-one is different because there's a lot of going back and forth on speaking. But if you were to set it as, you can set it as personal and you can set it as business, and more so you want to use it in a group setting call.
Hey, before I let you run, I would be remiss to not ask you about the comment that you made before the playoff game against the Cleveland Browns when you said the Browns is the Browns. And how much do you think, honestly, that motivated them in that game?
Probably a lot, honestly. I'm not going to lie to you. It got to the point where, the Cleveland Browns, had a billboard up in Cleveland that's saying Browns is the Browns. I think by me saying that, it says that, a lot of people care about what I say and my voice and my opinion. At the end of the day, I said what I said. I don't say anything back. They did come out there. They did whoop our ass. And that's completely, that it is what it is. We lost that game, and we lost early in that game within the first, 5-10 minutes, but we still fought. I'll tell you one thing about our team. We still fought to the end. And, like I said, it wasn't good enough, but I just know that the AFC North is probably the hardest division right now to win in. Guys like Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, and Ben, and I think every team is getting to the point where like, man, they're really good. So it is what it is.
Was that an eye-opener for you, though? I mean, do you and maybe we all need to go through that part of our journey where we realize, holy crap, somebody's actually listening to me, reacting to me. I need to factor that in when I say things in the future.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I know what I'm saying, and I don't, everything I say, I don't regret. Usually when I speak out of term, it's, I speak, as what I say. So for the most part, I think anything I do on social media is a very, people are willing to catch it, but the response, for example, me doing Corvette, I get hit, the ball's thrown to me, and I get hit, I get blown up, people turn that into like the biggest news. It's good media. Like I said, it is what it is. I gotta take it as I said it. But there's no regret. There's no regret at all. You live, you learn, and speaking into the future, you gotta respect the teams. Gotta respect the teams low. Gotta respect the teams that I'm playing against. And like I said, our division is really hard this year, and I'll be surprised to see that we will have some great games.
Hey, last one real quick. There's been a lot of talk about players showing up, not showing up for the workouts at the team facility. Where do you stand on that? How much, if any, are you going to be there for the voluntary offseason?
For the most part, I'll be there. Right now, everything's just virtual and Zoom and stuff like that. So, yeah.
All right. Hey, JuJu, we appreciate some of your time. We say to you all the best. Congratulations on your success and safe travels. Enjoy the rest of the offseason. We hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.